Not today, bitch. Look at all them Satan signs. Bless your fucking silly heart. I'm into Lilith too, to be honest. I don't know why I'm doing this. But here we are, just like fucking each other, I guess. Loving it. We're having a good time. Heal up, little bitches. Oh, where'd that little fuck go? Ooh.
That is a proper demon. Watch your ass.
Is that my surprise? Cue Jay, with his dick tucked. No! Why? Rude. Oh, come back, Skellies. Heal up, motherfuckers. Stop. Don't touch me there. That's my Skelly square. Did I kill him with my penis?
Oh, Elias.
That's sick.
How vicious you've become.
What happens now?
Bad news first. Gembar was expecting someone. It seems Elias has turned others to his madness. Taught them to summon too, I'd wager. You heard Gembar. The Master has all he needs. They're about to do something drastic.
And the good news?
I've gotten a drop on
Elias
my own
gave us a
channel.
gift, remember? This demon he sent to kill us. It is unique. It requires constant feeding. Human sacrifices, in fact. If I cut open its belly, someone inside might hold a clue. Tell us where it came from. I must have it brought to Kedbardu for examination.
I'm sorry, what? Okay. Yeah. Sick. All right. So, can I like exit out this way and get to that town over there and nope, get a way shrine maybe?
Maybe.
Oh, my bad. I farted. Wow. Having a good time. I don't know what did you get? What did you get? What did you get as a drop? I'm curious. I don't even remember what I got or where it went or what happened with it. But I know you have to have your accounts to get up to even get the alert, so I know it's somewhere. I just don't know where. Not that way. Bad Katie. No. I'm climbing! Oh, Samantha, you and your pretty sounds. I know you're just trying to be sexy. Tuck in your flesh, people will stare. I am going in circles. Sure is. I am going in circles. Yes. I want out. This is a maze of horrible time. Accident back piece? Nice, actually. Like legit stuffs you got? Oh, David, you got bopped. What happened? Oh no. Did it hurt? I think we need to take a break. I need to get a drink. Anyways, I am... Fuck! Mercenary Flesh. Cute. Cute name, bro. The Wool Bounty. I gotta take the trans... Wait, get the fuck... Get the... Why are you like this? Ooh, it's flowy. Oh my god, the slit down the middle is so come fuck me. I am living for that. You guys want to hang out in my skirt? I opened it for business. Oh, it shows up in your chest in town? Okay. That makes sense. Okay, great. What was last week's drops? I don't remember. I don't even think I knew they were themed until halfway through. Oh. Was it Necro? That's when I got a drop, so that means somewhere I've got a drop for Necro, but I don't know. Oh, scary fucking game. Unique sacred gloves. Is that dope? Is that a good thing? Wildfire season. I know. I'm anxious about wildfire season and heavy snow. Dude, it's like... How do I say this? The places that people like us can afford to live don't have anything to set on fire. So, like... Does that make sense? Sin. Oh my god, how are you, love? Does that make sense? For real. Like, where I live, there are, like, every yard, everybody has, like, a tree. My neighbors have, like, a very prolific yard because they literally they work at a garden center, so their yard is full of really cool trees. But there's nothing to set on fire. So, Colorado gets fires, but the fires are always up, like, on the edge of the mountains. Boulder, literally, Boulder sets on fire almost every single year. Estes Park set on fire last year. It's usually right at the edge of the mountains, right where there's enough stuff to actually burn, but it's hot and dry. Versus when you get in the mountains, that's where it's like wet enough and there's no fires. And then there will be brush fires once in a while, but I have never read about nor seen any big fires around the major Denver area because there's no life. It's, it's weird. It actually super reminds me. One year, I just remembered this. One year I went out to California when I was working with the Amazon devs on New World, working with them. I was like a streamer that got to come and test the game like multiple times. It was super cool. But anyways, the devs came and picked me up at the airport, and I was like, it was springtime, and the hills, this was down in Irving, and the hills were green. Everything was so green. I'm like, fuck, I've never seen California look more beautiful. And two of the guys turned to me with the most evil look on their face. And they were like, no, this is terrible. This just means the worst fires we've ever had are going to be this year. And I was like, oh shit, I never really thought about that. But that's basically means it has something to burn on, right? Which is sad. But around where I live, like, the neighborhoods and shit like that, there's no greenery. There's no wild greenery. It's like sagebrush. And it's called, what is it called? The Range. Good. Got a job interview. Oh, fuck yeah. I've been working on developing inventory for a wholesale shop. Oh, fuck yes. Dude, life, man. I'm alive. I can't complain. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad you're getting set up for a new job. Same, Seatown. That's what most people do. Most people do, like, potted succulents around here. And then they do, like, there's a thing called xeriscaping, where it's landscaping. You're still using plants and stuff, but it's plants that can survive in drought and in really cold weather because we get both. And so there's like, yucca and agave and lots of succulents, stuff that doesn't burn. Everybody has like one big tree in their yard, but it's not enough to create a forest fire, like unless someone was irresponsible. But honestly, I've never seen it happen. And at least where we are, our summer season is so short. Like, it's just now becoming warm and nice outside, and it's the middle of June, and it will be gone by September. It'll start to get cold immediately because we're so high up. We just get cold faster. We have much more winter. Like, probably a little over half the year is winter versus, the dry season. But yeah, the fires have never been anywhere near the city or near us, near like Denver. And we're like on the edge, outskirt of Denver. You know what I'm saying? But like, I wouldn't worry about about fires. Fires, I would not worry about. The only thing I would say is absolutely necessary if you're thinking about living in Colorado is having a car that has 4-wheel drive and just having a hearty overall spirit towards weather because we get it all. Yeah, all of it. And it's all really intense. But yeah, I remember the first year I moved here, I had my little Mazda 3. And the first snow we got went above my car. I couldn't see my car anymore. And I was like, oh, I need a car for mountains. No one here doesn't have a truck or something to get around. Because there's a certain time of year where there's going to be so much snow that you can't get out with a normal car. And you don't get plowed. Unless you are in the proper Denver downtown, you don't get a plow. So you're just fucked. And lots of moisturizer. Yeah, it's dry. Mm-hmm. Donna, that's the other thing we kind of get that air pollution as well. It only happens when we have really, really, really bad fire season for some reason. But what I've been told is that, what I've been informed by the locals, is that Denver's like in a valley, I guess. And so if we don't get wind, like we haven't had a lot of wind this spring. It's just been like wet and rainy and full of mosquitoes. And if we don't get enough wind, any kind of air that comes down out of the mountains gets just stuck in Denver. It just sits there. So when Boulder, for instance, and Estes were on fire, we were just in a cloud. And it was forever. I remember Eliza visited and we were coughing up black. We were just coughing black mucus out of our lungs just from the air outside. And it wasn't like you could see it. It was just, I mean, maybe it was just so bad you couldn't see it. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. It was terrible. Why did I go that way? Sorry, Psycho. Do I want this stuff? I don't know what that is. Oh, shit. I'm not allowed to have more. I have the... Oh, should I sell stuff? I'm sorry. I think I was going to do that. I'll sell stuff really quick. I think we took a break and I forgot. Big problem with the fires is that we don't start more of them all across North America. Suburban sprawl fragments ecosystems that for thousands of years burned regularly, and when we don't burn, biodiversity decreases because there's thousands of species and plants that depend on the fire to germinate can't grow. So it's the shade and crowd-loving plants that get big and brushy, and when the fires do come back, they're worse than they would be if we burned regularly. You know, Tom Middles, no, it's totally cool. That's actually a really fascinating subject to me. I learned about it, I think it was last year, I want to say. I was reading an article about how California made, what is it called? There's a word for it. The burning that you do. You like break down all your brush and stuff. It's, low burning, something like that. Fuck, I can't remember a word for it. But where I grew up in Washington State, everyone did it. I didn't even know there was a name for it. It was just like in the fall, when you would be riding the bus home from school, every single yard you passed would have little tiny fires all over their yard where they had raked up all the pine needles and all the leaves and everything, and they were burning them when it was like colder, but it was low burning. That's a UTI. Fuck you. You're right, though. There's a word for it, and I can't remember what it is, but there is like a thing. And so California, the state of California made it illegal when, you know, white people came in. They made it illegal to do this kind of burning. And the Native Americans had been doing it for years. Do I not have a weapon? I don't have a weapon right now. The Native Americans had been doing it for years and years. Yes, I do. Okay. And we came in and made it illegal. And then because of exactly what you're saying, like, they wouldn't allow this burning for so many fucking years. It's been, like, a detriment to the ecosystem, what have you, of California. And so, as of a couple years ago, I don't think it was last year they made it legalized, but as of a certain amount of time ago, I can't remember anymore, it's been a bit, they finally made it legal again. But they're acting like it's a new idea. They're like, the state is enforcing this new proprietary action law that states that you are allowed to burn something X blah whatever. And it's like, bitch, controlled burn, is that what it's called? Controlled burn? My parents did it forever. I never knew there was even a name for it. I learned that later, that there's some name for it. But yeah, I was just used to it. It was very normal. That's just what you did. You burned all the fucking shit to reduce the risk of fires happening next year. It is a totally natural thing though. There's like, isn't that like part of what the DNR is? Not the DNR, like the DNR is, they're like a fire fighting service in places where fires are extreme, and their job is also partly to like allow the controlled burn and stuff like that, you know? Like, they don't exactly go up into the woods. If people aren't in immediate danger, they don't go up there and immediately start putting out fires. They control them to allow the fires to happen without impeding on human, like, existence or whatever. Absolutely, Donna. That's what I was saying. I think it's the DNR. I think it's the DNR that does it. I mean, it's probably specific to each state. They probably all have, like, a different name for it. In Washington, where I grew up, I remember if you were 18... in the summertime, all the 18-year-olds would go work for the DNR because you'd get paid fucking big. But you had to pass some pretty extraneous physical tests to be able to... They wouldn't let just anybody do it. Like, you had to be able to run, like, 5 miles with some huge pack on your back through the woods and shit like this. Like, they put you through some crazy tests to make sure you were actually capable of doing it. Prescribed fire, is that what it's actually called? I believe you. Honestly, I didn't know there was a name for it for a long time. Mads, I hope you're doing well. Necro build's pretty fun. I've been doing the blood build, I guess you would say it's called, where I just like suck blood and feed my cute little skellies and tell them to go do work for me. It's been pretty entertaining. Honestly, the game is fun no matter what. I've always liked having a herd of little henchmen, though.
Clean kill. The Forge Master was right to send you.
Okay, thanks, ma'am.
Survive what?
Yeah, topic's a great way of talking about how the legal definition of wilderness in the U.S. system. Western environmentalism as a whole, and specifically our park system, is built on the back of history of westward expansion, eugenics, manifest destiny, removing indigenous people cultures, and land management techniques off the lands. Exactly. Yeah. Could not have fucking said it better myself. And what's crazy is, I mean, at least I had to go learn all of that on my own. Like, that is all very, very, I mean, now, very obvious, very apparent American history that none of us are really taught. At least I wasn't. Like, I had to go learn all that. I wasn't taught anything icky. Nothing that would have been deemed ugly. You know, ugly, that made America look ugly. Like, my town was very, very small, very, very white, and very, very, like, America! And we weren't taught shit, man. Like, at all. No, nothing. It's exactly, like, I used to think America was the most boring country in the world. I mean, we're not boring, but, like, for the worst reasons ever. I used to think we were boring, and American history was boring, and it was, like, the Oregon Trail. Like, my ancestors are so fresh off the boat, the Oregon Trail held exactly zero interest or mystery to me. I was like, fuck, I don't give a shit about any of this. And then when you actually, like, go to college and pay to take some actual legit history courses, it's enlightening, like, in the worst, best way ever. I think it's important to know all bits of history, even the parts that make you go icky, because, like, it fucking happened. But also, oh, God. I felt very betrayed. I felt betrayed by, like, the school system. I was like, none of this. I was taught none of this. I remember when I first heard, like, Sacagawea didn't go of her own accord with the white dudes who wanted to, you know, leave her. I was just, like, appalled. Like, how did I not guess that, though? Ignorant, dumb, white whore. That's why. Sweet drop. Did you get a good one? Fuck yes. I'm so glad you guys are getting good drops. Dude, right, Bubblicious? It's like you feel kind of betrayed. Like this whole, because I struggled. I mean, you still get tests and stuff. Just because our education system sucks doesn't mean it's not like set up like most education systems in terms of like reading stuff, taking tests, blah, blah, blah. I was a terrible student. I've always been a really bad test taker, and I'm not very good at that kind of stuff. So I still struggled. And then, you know, going to college and learning actual history, I'm like, I struggled to learn bullshit lies is what you're... Okay. Like, I've forced myself to memorize bullshit. And that's upsetting. It's like fucking... I don't know. Betraying. I don't know. It's a weird feeling. I don't know another word for it other than, like, you just kind of feel like, fuck all of you. Why would I work for anything? Exactly. It just disabuses you of the absurdity of our mythology. That's the thing. Education, right? It really comes down to education. Educated people are much less likely to get swayed by, you know, oh, the drag queens are grooming our kids. They're not, though. Oh, yeah, but they are. No, they're not. 'Cause I'm educated, I know fucking better. It's real hard to manipulate an educated person. I didn't know, though, and I'm glad. But, like, I chose to take those history classes. I wasn't required to take them, and that's a little, like, you know, that's why there are people our age who still don't know literally anything and are able to get dissuaded by the nasty Trump shit because you had to pay to take a college like that. None of that was required. It wasn't even a GRE. It was like I paid thousands of dollars to learn the real history of my country because no one else would teach it to me. And I'm glad I had parents who encouraged me to take some history courses because I honestly went through school hating, like, history, quote unquote. I thought it was just really boring. And my mom was like, you have some space to fill up, like, take a fun history course or something. And I was like, Mom, America's bad. And she was like, For all her faults, she is not in denial of those things by any means. Hello, bitch. I put my hand up on your hip, and I dip, you dip, we dip. Like how the Trail of Tears was not an isolated event or racism stopped after the Civil Rights Movement. I mean, that's something that's... I don't even remember if I was taught that in school or if that was just something I was, like, brainwashed taught by my family. But a very, very large portion of my childhood, I remember quite clearly my mom making comments like, you know, thank God we don't live in the South where racism is very prevalent. She does not say those things anymore. She's more worldly. I've made her travel. But, like, there was a period of time where she would say things like that. And there was a period of time where I straight up believed that. I was like, oh, yeah, if you're not in the South, there is no racism. Which, like, what the fuck? I remember that shit. And it sucks. And so does she.
This place has been taken.
I know. But it's kind of like, it's kind of that mentality that a lot of, I feel like, Americans get. Like, America's the land of the free, and you won't be free if you're not anywhere but America, and some. It's the same, like, if you haven't seen it, for some people, unfortunately, they have to experience it firsthand to believe something's real. Which is gross and sad, but it's real. You know what I mean?
Please, join us at Orbe as soon as you are able.
Am I on the Christian people's team? Because I don't want to be. Every country has skeletons, exactly. I just feel like a lot more... I mean, our country is a lot more apt to teach us about other countries' skeletons than it is its own. They was admitting so hardcore, and it wasn't until the military getting out and going back to school that my brain was exploded with, oh my goodness, yeah. I had that, Bubblicious, you and I probably spiritually literally had the identical moments of just like...
Except by the arrival of Loznay. Should he appear, escort him to the sacristy.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I had those times too. Yeah.
Lock the doors!
What about the others? The abbot!
The abbot!
Do as I say!
Oh, not the abbot! And even then, their own self-actualization is stunted by that denial. 100%. I think people have a really hard time forgiving themselves for being wrong or just being wrong. Like, it's okay to be wrong. And it doesn't make you dumb. It doesn't make you less of a person. Like, it doesn't this, that, and the other. But it's like a weird pride bullshit thing, right? Where people, like, it's, you know, if I accept a new idea, then that means admitting I was wrong. And, like, you know, oh, can't do that. Which is weird. I don't know, man. When you realize racist white people in the Northeast don't want to end slavery because they were anti-racist. Wait, wild when you find out a large reason why they actually opposed it at the individual level is because they saw white people abusing their slaves in the South as degrading to those white people. Icky poopy. Although... that doesn't shock me. On that note, though, Funny. I mean, not funny. I don't know. Probably one of the most significantly unsurprising thing you'll hear all fucking day. So if you guys didn't know, there is a show on YouTube, and it's run by Ancestry.com, and they like take stars, like celebrities, and do their ancestry, like hardcore research them and find out they're like related to a princess or some shit like that. And the other day, one popped up on my feed, and it was motherfucking Paula Deen. And not a big fan, because, you know, racist hoe. But I like those ancestry shows, and I had nothing else to watch, and I was just chilling, trying to get my computer to watch, so I was like, fuck it, I'll watch this. And, oh my god, one of my dogs farted, and it's so bad. You guys smell like death, one of you. Would it shock you to know that her, like, ancestors were, like, owners of slaves and stuff? And when her great-grandfather or whatever had to give up all his slaves, he killed himself because he was so sad about it. Raise your hand if you're shocked. Those vocals, the audio in this is fucking gnarly. I honestly, the reason I watched it is I thought they were going to surprise me. I thought they were going to be like, your family was actually on the north and you're a racist fuck for no reason. And then when they showed her that her family was like slave owned and like literally big time famous plantation owners with like over 100 slaves at one point, she was like, oh my God. Oh my, you know, in my heart, I feel as though he was a good man. He just didn't know no better. But in my heart, I feel he was a good man. It was fucking wild, my dudes. You can't even. You can't write that shit. So, on a related note, Paula hasn't changed. And we're all shocked. Vex. What up, Honey Bean? How are you, love? I'm just rolling dead bodies. I don't know. We're supposed to explore this shit, right? Oh, look, a dead body. There's the bad. Why'd it do that? That one was mad. Oh, Sir Roland, I know. I told Sheepy now everyone's gonna know about the witchcraft, and he was like, eventually they'll know, Katie, get over it. So here we are. How are you, love? Oh, yeah, that. Oh, look, a wrathful phantom. Do we follow this? Oh, okay. Do you want to fuck with me today? I got a little something, something. What? I think it's pretty hard to not understand that at a profoundly spiritual level, all humans owning another human is wrong. Yes. Yeah. I like, yeah. Yeah, I think about that shit a lot, because it's another thing that kind of baffles me, that at one point in time there were people that thought it was okay to own people. And I'm really grateful I came from very poor Irish stock. Although, who knows, it probably happened there too, but I don't think so. My family was poor as fuck. Screams, I hear screams. But, like, I'm trying to think of how to word it. I agree with you. There's something inherently in our souls that says owning another person is bad. And, like, when you think about just, like, you as a human and your day-to-day activities and the things you do on a normal day and a normal, like, lifespan, I guess, even, you could go that broad. Like, you have so many things and options to do to make money, make a living, make a farm, whatever, that don't require extensive excuses to make you feel okay about doing, I guess.
Not a man, a devil.
You know? Like, on a related but not nearly as severe or ingrained note, like the Harry Potter game. Like, when everybody was having, like, an existential crisis about, should I play it, should I not play it, should I play it? It's like, dude, there are literally hundreds of thousands of video games out there. You don't have to make excuses to play. Why not just do one of those and then not worry about it? I don't want to make excuses to play a game that hurts my friends' feelings. Like, I'm good. In my eyes, it was like making excuses to play a game made by someone that profoundly uses the N-word and is openly racist. Like, why not just play a game that doesn't work? You don't need to do any of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's fucking weird. It's a bizarre mentality. I assume that money and being rich must just cleanse yourself of any shame and guilt you feel about doing horrible things like owning humans. I don't know. I've never been rich. Has anyone been, like, excessively wealthy? Do you somehow just feel much more okay about doing horrible things? Cold steel bow. Gimme. Actually, that's probably... I can't use that. Just kidding. That would have been cool. What up, Wrathful? Whatever. That's why I stopped buying from Ubisoft. Yeah, I feel that. Or shirking regulations, making your own tourist sub to go, oh my god. Is there any updated news on that? Does anybody know if they're, like, gone forever and, like,
Critics
fucking dead?
fear the dangers of our scholar.
You rabbit. Why did you let him in?
Oh, he tormented. Oh shit, should we look more before we go in there? I did watch Succession, yes. That was a good show. C-Town, that's what I gotta wonder. If at a certain point, do you just become completely disconnected from reality and the consequences of your actions? I wonder that, because, like, again, with this sub, like, do they just think because they're rich they're invincible?
To the study of all evils.
I don't know.
Restricted to only the most devout scholars of Zakar.
Yeah. Outside, so they've still did nothing since they lost contact. Wow. I don't wish death, or I don't wish ill will on people just because they're stupid, and I don't think anyone deserves to die just because they're stupid, and please don't say things like that. That's horrible. No one deserves death or maimment. But, like, I have a hard time having pity for these rich fucks who just, like the thing we watched this morning, the newscaster or whatever was like, said something about it was at the point that we lost our connection with the sub that it wasn't looking like a good idea anymore. And they had just literally described how this sub was screwed shut from the outside. So even if they came to the surface, they can't get out of this airtight sub without someone's help. Like, when the fuck did it sound or look like a good idea to screw yourself into a steel coffin and go underwater to look at the Titanic, of which there's lots of footage to look at on YouTube? It just feels like rich people looking for somewhere to spend their money. I hope they're okay, but my pity is so low. It's real fucking low. I got a drop! Ultimate form of groupthink. They're constantly told nothing they could ever do wrong, and the moment someone does, they're sent packing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's weird. It's like the Twitter phenomenon of, like, if you have a check mark and you're famous, it means whatever you say must be true and, like, factual and worth paying attention to, when in fact it's probably the opposite.
Diablo,
Oh, you hurt.
open the door. And the pale devil smiled. He took the forbidden knowledge.
Shh. It's all right. I've cleared the way out. Can you walk?
There is no way out. What knowledge remains must never leave.
Oh, he pissed.
Unto evening I shall keep it safe, and into the night hereafter. We must protect the archive.
Dude, Knives, I've thought about that. Like, these people could literally hire the #1 scholars and tutors in the entire world. They could learn every language there is to know. They could travel the fucking universe, learn how to fly a plane, get a plane, fly their own fucking plane. I mean, the things that you could do with the astronomical money some people have, and I don't know what drives them not to do anything like that. I have no idea. I mean, they just tend to pay other people to do it for them, I guess. But then what do you do all day? Or maybe some scuba lessons. How Bill Gates destroyed our education. Wait, what? I thought you said enlightening. Isn't enlightening connotate a positive feeling? No? I'm just ranting while murdering stuff. I started bitching about the school system and how I didn't know anything about history until I paid for a class. I don't know how we got on this topic. I'm just fucking ranting. You know, the huge. The huge. Cast light upon. Oh, okay. I mean, I assumed he had something to do with it, considering he was the one throwing grants around at all the schools in the U.S., but most of my childhood was spent in Washington State, where he is stationed, so we were like the guinea pig for everything he decided to do. He's the source and reason for new math, and the reason why we were all like taught a new way of thinking every fucking year. Because it was like 1 year you had computers, the next year you had a new computer, and the next year you had a new computer, and they were like, now we're going to learn a new way to use computers, and then another way, and then they were like, oh, why can't you do math? And it's like, I don't know, you left me on a computer for 9 hours every day. Help. It's bizarre. At least we didn't have Macs. A lot of schools got Macs. No offense. But I mean, I'm just saying, at least I got something functional out of the gates being all up in my shit. How dare you touch me, bitch? Rude. Suck on that! Come, Samantha. We've got work to do. And look at me now! I'm a mess! Did you really need the math skill? I mean, you know what's weird? I don't think so. But I had to take so much math in school just because of the degree I did. Like, I had to take, I made a bad guy. I had to take so much goddamn math in school. Like, it's crazy. But no, I have yet to use any of it. Like, even in the hospital, like, division, multiplication, occasionally. Like, that was it. Like, mental math. I don't know, man. I think math just needs a reason to still exist, and they wouldn't be able to fill up their classes with enough kids if they made it optional. Which I agree math should exist. Like, we need mathematicians. It's just like not everybody wants to be a mathematician. And like, how many do we need? Realistically. And is it me? No, it's not me. It's not gonna be me. Oh shit balls! I don't know is this something new, Zoe? I don't know if I've heard of this one. I tend to stay out of Rogan anything, because he's another one of them dum-dums. We are cheersing today. Oh, no. I just, you know, I finished the battling until, and then I cheersing. No, we cheersing. Oh, god damn it. Of course something shows up. Hold on. Okay. Cheers! I just can't pause the game. Sir only right? Nagio, 100% agree. However, I would argue that playing video games such as Riven and Myst far outweighed the problem-solving, my problems, like the skills of problem-solving I got from those games were way higher than anything I got out of math. I hate to say this, like, the reason I was able to do math is I eventually got that one golden teacher, literally like a movie, who recognized my learning disability of being severely ADHD and just having no one recognize that ever in my life. And he, like, he sat me down and taught me a million ways to do the same equation until I figured it out. Until it worked. And then he was like, okay, this is the way we're doing math with you from now on. And that teacher really changed my life. But without that teacher, I would have failed out. Like, I would have never been able to complete anything because I just could not, like, I don't know what it is. It's so hard for me to explain why math doesn't work for me, but it doesn't work for me. And, I had to go all the way through fucking linear algebra, which was some bullshit. But what math up until college taught me was that I can do everything the adults tell me to do that should theoretically lead to success, and it won't lead to success. Therefore, adults are fucking liars. And I've gone over this a lot with my therapist, don't worry. But that is a huge issue for me, because no one, like, this is theoretical because obviously we can't go in time and visit those times and see what Katie was like. But theoretically, this is what a lot of psychologists have come to realize, is that a lot of women who have had ADHD their entire life, like really bad ADHD that impaired their day-to-day activities, they were never diagnosed because a lot of ADHD symptoms in girls are deemed as positive characteristics, i.e. being really OCD about organizing and cleaning over and over and over again, keeping things alphabetical, repetitive activities, being type A, stuff like that. But it leads us to be fucked. So like when you give kids like, oh yeah, if you study chapters 7, 8, and 9, you should be able to pass the test. And I study chapters 7, 8, and 9, and I don't sleep or eat, and I literally bleed over the book, and I don't pass the test. You're a liar now to me. To a kid. That's what literally happens to a child's mind. Oh, you fucked with me. Because I did what you said. So eventually we just stop doing what you say.
Because you're a lying piece of shit!
Cheers. I'm not bitter. I'm bitter. I am a little bit bitter. I'm getting over it. I talk to my therapist about it regularly. Don't worry. I'm mildly bitter in that I hate that so many people in my life who I was supposed to trust to lead me to success let me feel so fucking stupid for so long. I take that very personally. That pisses me off. Suck it, nerd! Applied math to stats. Dude, stats were really hard for me. Physics was the hardest, though, and I've never used physics a day of my life, like, ever, but physics was really, really hard for me. I have a really hard time holding, like, math equations, literally holding any kind of image in my head for an extended period of time, and because of that, it makes it really fucking difficult to do physics, because physics is a lot of, theorizing, not theorizing, what's the word for it? There's a word for it where it's like the conceptualizing it in your head and holding it there for a minute and then conceptualizing something else and then putting them together into one whole picture. And by the time I got step 2, I couldn't do anymore. It was crazy and stupid. What would you tell your younger self in regards to school if you could? Fuck, dude. That's a hard question. If it was today, like if my younger self came to live in today, I'd say go on the internet and don't depend on your teachers to teach you. Go on the internet, find Khan Academy.
My eyes were opened.
That would, but I don't know,
saw the
because back
coming
then, like,
darkness.
we didn't have anywhere to
From
go.
the day, I have prepared to accept the burden of
Fuck,
knowledge.
dude, that's a tough one.
Unto evening, I shall keep it safe, and into the night hereafter.
That's a really good question. You've boggled my mind. Right? Like, it was such a different world. And when you're a kid and you put yourself in that mental position of being a kid, you feel, like, at least I did when I was a kid, I felt very much like, I mean, what the adults say is fact. I didn't have, like, you know, anywhere to go to ask for an alternate answer, so I just had to take it or leave it. Like, I just don't know. There was really nowhere else to go. David, 100% true. 100%. That's why I said Khan Academy. If you've never heard of Khan Academy, it's the only reason I passed college. Khan Academy is everything. Kahn, just give it a Google. Khan Academy was phenomenal, but I don't even know if, because the internet, we didn't even have the internet. I would probably tell my younger self to invest more in herself than what people tell her. is the way to go about it. I don't know how else to put it. It's so hard, but like, if I would have just trusted myself and my own process and been like, just read the book, take some notes, read it the way you want to read it, as opposed to like following exactly my teacher's instructions, like read this and do the quizzes and this, like, I don't know. I feel like the structure is what broke me down because I was more worried about remembering the structure than actually the content I was consuming in the structure. That's psychotic. I did school. I did that there school too sometimes. From a swift Google, Common Core standards require students to use reasoning in real life situations, whereas traditional math was equation and calculation based. Is Common Core the new math? I have no idea. I don't know what Common Core is. With Common Core math, students must have a solid understanding of the concepts involved in reaching their answers. With traditional math, the student would simply memorize tables and memorize answers. That's what I was taught with, whatever the memorizing stuff was. Well, there's no, and that's the thing. You need structure with math. Like, you know what I mean? I agree with you. Like, there's no structure. You do need some structure. Yeah, believing more in myself and not so much trying to follow the recipe adults gave me. Because the betrayal I felt when I realized that recipe they gave me was wrong was so fucking detrimental. I really fucked my own life over for quite some time. Because I wanted to give my mom the middle finger, like, fuck you. You did this. I wanted to do that for so long. And if I would have just, like, you know, been a little bit more trusting of myself. Because I knew it would. Look at this guy. I love this. I love that we're just chilling next to this undulating bloody dude. If I would have just trusted my gut, I would have done better. Because once I got to college, and in college, you literally, I mean, your 101 classes, I'm sure a lot of you know this, but if you don't, your 101 classes, most of the time you have a midterm and a final, if not just a final. Like, that's it. That's your grade. And the rest of the quarter, you're just expected to read the book and come to class and learn the material, and that's about the fucking it. But I did so much better. I was instantaneously better at school because I was left to my own devices. No one was telling me how to study or when to study. And I wasn't being checked in on constantly. Like, it's the same concept. I mean, you're still learning the same amount of material you would in any class structure, but you're left to learn it, and we trust that you're going to learn it enough to pass this final. And, like, that was better for me because I just have a different pattern of learning. I have, like, a very prime zone in the morning, like I call it my hot zone, where my brain works really well and my ADHD hasn't quite kicked in. I've got caffeine on board and I can focus. And after that, I'm done for. And when you're in, grade school, K through 12, homework every day. Doesn't matter how you felt or what your brain was doing. I was really good at memorizing things just long enough to ace tests in any subject. I could not. Oh, but then you'd forget most of it. Oh, that's got to be fucking irritating. The only thing I would change would be get my uncle to tutor me in English sooner. My teacher sucked all of the enjoyment out of that subject that I should have engaged with heavily. I'm really, really thankful. My one good teacher in high school was my English teacher. And to this day, I firmly believe she is the only teacher I've ever had in my life who actually prepared me in any way, shape, or form for life or just for college. She was hard. Like, most students in the school actually fucking hated her. People would, like, quote unquote bully her. Like, someone hid a deer near her house and literally left it in front of her house. People are assholes because she was a hard ass teacher. Like, when you had a due date, it was a firm fucking due date. She didn't give you a second chance, and she did it with a smile, and people hated that. But that's real life. And while that irritated me, I appreciated that, and I really thrive in a structure like that, like someone giving me a hard structure with hard due dates and stuff like that. That's just what I like. And she was obsessed with Shakespeare. She was big on Shakespeare. So all of these attributes she, used in terms of us learning Shakespeare. And I mean, I think, honestly, she's the only person who gave me any sort of work ethic when I went to college. Because in college, you fucking, sorry, I slept in and didn't turn my paper in, they'll giggle at you. Like, they don't give a fuck. You're one of 300 in this auditorium, you know what I mean? I feel bad for students that were given those leeways. Knives, for me, I didn't trust myself. Again, which is what I really wish I would have instilled in myself. I, like, looking back on it, and today, if I take a test, like, for my respiratory stuff, like my ongoing quizzes, what I have to do is I have to set a timer, and I give myself 5 minutes to do the quiz, and I just first instinct answers. I second guess myself, and then I third guess myself, and I'll literally second guess myself out of the right answer every fucking time because I have no faith in myself at all. And I don't know why, but if I could go back in time and slap little bitty Katie and be like, poo, poo, believe in yourself, bitch. Everyone around you is crazy and doing terribly. Don't look up to any of them. That one's dying. I feel like I would have done a lot better. You know what I'm saying? Anyways. Abbott, we need to leave. Dude, you too? I'm so sorry, because that shit is fucked up.
No. I deserve to burn with the rest of it.
Where is Elias?
Why trouble? Can I ask?
Gone. He said the ruin of Sanctuary was imminent and only I could help.
Same. Hard same.
He is going to summon a lesser evil. He took all he needed. And then my scholars.
Is your beehole bleeding?
He murdered them.
Dead Kelly, you're like my sister. Oh, fun. You're like my sister. Oh, what a hottie with a body. My little sister's very, very much like that. She always, but I mean, I think a different level of stress was put on her because of that. I've talked to her about it since then. Like, when I was a kid, I was always kind of more the class clown. I was artistic, blah, 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 whatever. Excuses for being dumb, basically. Not getting good grades and shit. Whereas my little sister was always very academically inclined. She learned to read really fucking early, all this shit. And the pressure it put on her to then get straight A's the rest of her life was, I mean, she got fucking impressed. Like, she was damn fucking sad for a long period of time because she, you know, got to law school and nobody gets straight A's in law school. You know what I'm saying?
Shall be shared among the children
And
of Lilith.
Oh.
And no secret shall be kept from them. And the liars and learned thieves of the world shall perish in their regret.
Learned thieves, eh? Whereas I was given a lot more leeway to get B's and C's because I was, you know, seen as the artsy kid, like, you know, never really a good test taker, not a straight A, but like whatever. I wasn't given that pressure. Whereas my sister, I remember when she was in law school, like, she started going to therapy because when she was in law school, she didn't get straight A's, and she was having an existential breakdown about it. And she had to go, literally, they have therapists that are specifically for law students because so many law students start to lose their fucking mind when they're in law school. And she told me that. She said her law psychologist had to grill into her so many fucking times. Nobody gets straight A's in law school. You are putting unrealistic expectations on yourself. You have to stop. Because she just never had before in her life not gotten A's. Because she, you know, most of her life didn't have to try. And then, you know, law school will break you, I guess. Law school is giving only B's and making you argue for that A, right? When you get straight A's once or twice and they expect it forever, that's exactly what happened. Yeah, D4 is fun. No, I mean, I even think it's fun to watch. I like to watch other people play it mostly for, I like to see the way they create their characters and stuff like that. Deck their characters out in their different armors and stuff. Fashion first, you know. Oh, it's, where the fuck is the fucking fuck? Down this way? Yeah? Okay. I'm kind of the opposite of you. I would tell myself, don't go to college because my degree didn't do anything for me. In the job I have now, it was all experience. Oh, I would say the same on that one. Oh my God, Knives. 100. I mean, it's hard though. Like, I would say don't go to school, but also, would I be the same human being I am right now if I didn't go to college and work in a hospital for a while and like watch a whole bunch of people die regularly? I don't know. Like, in a good way or a bad way. I don't know what that would do to change who I am fundamentally, and that So I don't know if I would fuck with that.
My eyes can only watch so much.
Like, yeah, I don't use it, but it's definitely, I think, kind of integrally part of who I am, my experiences in general. But that's the job. But the job required the education. I don't know. I can make meth, and I wouldn't know how to do that without college.
What did he take?
Scrolls from the Forbidden Archive. He has the
Right,
means
Bobo.
to summon a lesser evil.
I don't know if I want that, because I don't know if that's for the good or the better.
Which bloody one? Where? Oh, we don't know, of course. Elias could cover the steppes in blood, but a lesser could wipe out the continent.
That's a tough
or
one.
worse. Come. Elias's pet demon is inside. Pray it leads us to him.
You think so, Trouble? Electrical and computer engineering? I dated an engineer for a while, and his teachers told him that not to get a master's because we graduated together with our bachelors, and his teachers were like, don't get a master's. It's pointless, but that was like 13 years ago.
This is Elias's work. But where is he? The answer lies in the stomach.
Oh yeah, we're pulling out the tum pieces? Or someone inside of him? A person? Oh my god.
This is delicate. A soft noble's hand. Elias would have to feed this thing with more than fancy boots.
That's someone's son.
Or daughter.
We should burn demons.
This is wrong.
This medallion bears the crest of the ruler of the royal house of Gulran.
Former ruler.
Obviously.
That's enough, old man. The dead deserve respect.
The dead deserve nothing when the living are in danger. Now Gulran has a new ruler, and we have Elias to thank for it.
The dead may be worthless to you, but that medallion could bring peace to those still mourning.
Fine. If we are to find Elias, then we must also travel to Gulran. Meet me there, and be swift about it.
All the rumbly
And
tumblies.
avoid the city gates. Too many cannibals. Go to the cliffs.
I was
We'll
just trying to
find
catch
out
up on
there.
chat while they were talking because multitasking is my gift. I appreciate that, Hate Wheel. I mean, that's the thing. Like, all the experience I've had in the hospital and, like, you know, working in that world did make me grow up to a certain extent in a way that I hadn't yet been forced to grow up. I don't know, man. Like, I'm not saying I liked seeing dead babies, but, like, I'd be a different person if I hadn't, and I don't know who that would be, and I don't know if I'd like that person. I don't know if I'd be a fan of her. She might have been kind of a cunt. Straight into the industry, I got a degree first. We ended up in the same company. He was about a year ahead of me in promotions all the time I was there. Damn. No shit. You know what's funny? My ex is an engineer. He now works with his best friend that he met at Lowe's, and his best friend doesn't have a degree in anything, and they both get paid the exact same amount of money doing the exact same job, and I think it makes him really fucking mad. It makes me giggle, though. You know what I'm saying? I agree. I think universities should be about learning, exploring your passions, but, like, they make it so you're in existential, eternal debt the rest of your life in order to do such things, at least in America, and I think that's really fucked up.
You need steel work?
That shit pisses me off. I don't think you should have to fuck your whole life over, and then, you know, the whole world comes after you because you can't buy a house. Or you don't have kids, and you're like, with what moolah, motherfuckers? You ruined the world before I could get there. Know what I'm saying? Feels a little fucked up, in my humble opinion. It's like, oh, you want to expand your brain? Give me your life. Vissy, my love, how are you? Universities are a great place to learn, but you can learn all sorts outside of one. For me, it was the environment that did well. I really vibe with the kinds of discussions some of the classes fostered. Same for me, Tom Diddles, and honestly, I think what you get, at least what I got out of a college environment that I don't think I would have got anywhere else, i.e. learning on my own, is the diversity of people. And I think that's something I fucking love about what I do now, i.e. stream on the interwebs with you guys. I think that no conversation is worth having if you don't have every point of view present. Every conversation is going to be so much more entertaining when you have a bunch of people from a bunch of different walks of life, different generations, different age groups, blah, 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 etc. The conversation is so much vastly more interesting, and you're getting the whole picture. Whereas I felt like, at least where I went to school, because I was in the Pacific Northwest, where it's white, I felt like a lot of the classes I took were just an echo chamber. There wasn't like real discussion ever happening because people just like sucked each other's dicks all day. And again, it was the era of like, I don't know, sucking each other's dicks, I guess. It wasn't bad, but like it was like on the verge. I feel like, I don't know, no one would stand up to it. Like if you thought a professor was doing something wrong or saying the wrong information, no one would stand up to them and be like, yo, that's bullshit. Like ever. They would just be like, oh, okay, let me suck your dick and bend over at the same time while you lie to my face. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Whereas nowadays, like when my sister was going to school, at least they had much more realistic conversation, much more like human to human conversations with their professors, as opposed to student teacher bow down to me bitch conversations. It feels like, at least from listening. Wait, today's been the worst. I almost went to the ER vomiting this morning. I couldn't breathe. No. I mean, honey, if you can't breathe and you've been vomiting and you vomited for that many hours, you should still go to the doctor. Like, you need to go to the doctor. Something's going on. Like, I love you so much, but you need to get to a clinic or something. That's something. Oh, you got a government grant. My parents were expected to pay some of the day-to-day expenses, but the fees and rental were paid for. Dude, my sister got that. But one of my older siblings, when my little sister Sarah and I were going to college, none of my siblings were still in the house. And so the government deemed my parents made too much money, so we couldn't get any grants at all. I mean, I'm not saying it's like something terminal, like some bacteria from Africa that's melting your eyeballs into your stomach and making you shit out your ass or something like that. I'm just saying, like, they can at least give you a banana bag and hydrate you so you don't die while you survive this bug. You know what I mean? Like, you might be at that stage where you need some IV hydration, my girl, and I need you alive. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like you've got some fucking foreign, like, weird something. Like, there is a point, seriously, and this is very, very specific to vomiting and diarrhea. There is a certain point with any tummy bug. It can be something even not deadly. But there's a point where if your body will not hold water down or in, i.e. you just shit water or puke immediately, you will die of dehydration. Like, your heart will start to palpitate and you'll have a heart attack. And it can be just from a tummy flu. Like, it's worth it to go get that. Like, at least that. You don't have to say yes to anything else, but some fucking hydration, maybe. I love you so much. I just don't want you to be sick. Like, that's severe. That's a lot. Shaking, sweaty. The shaking and the sweaty is literally your muscles and nerve endings on fire because the potassium dropped because of all the puking. Like, you're on the verge of that point of no return. Time to go in. I love you. Where's sunscreen? No, really. I trust you. I love you. For real. Like, you know this. You have the right to say fuck no to literally anything in that office.
Time
like
for our roads to part.
some IV hydrate. It'd be like literally, I have not been able to drink water in over 24 hours. And they will give you some IV hydration. Like, it's the least that they can do. It's not going to hurt you in any way, shape, or form. And it's going to keep my girl alive and watered like a beautiful flower. But, like, if they try to shove other fucking shit on you, just be like, nah, dude. I got a flu bug. I just can't get any water. No